What the hell do you mean people from England talk funny? What language do people speak in America? They speak English. Where does English come from? Fucking Yanks. Proper English. Really? 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 Say aluminium. Did you hear that? Aluminium. Sometimes there's... What do you mean sometimes there's cussing? Americans cuss at every single fucking word. Mind you, so do I. But yeah, anyway, back to streaming and doing things. Somebody was asking how modded my Skyrim game is. Right. I don't know whether you're familiar with Mod Organizer or not, but basically, if you're familiar with any form of Skyrim modding, then you'll understand the next bit. This down here, on the right-hand side, this is the load order. This is the ESP list. So when you go through and you select your data files or whatever, this is what this is. I currently have 245 of them. On the left-hand side here, this is essentially the installation order. So if you use, no matter what, it doesn't really matter what you use, but, you know, as far as Skyrim is concerned, when I use this, I've installed that mod, then 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 the next one, all the way down. And I have installed 460 mods, but about half of those, if not more, are just pure textures. Yeah, Americans can speak English, but there's one thing you need to remember. You're living in the colonies. This is the home country. Over there in the colonies, you don't speak properly. Oh, crap. I got food in the oven. Just be 1 second, guys. And I'm back. Right. Yeah, so do you want me to go through my mods with you so you can see what I'm using? I do, actually. I am using... where's the section? More Dramatic Alduin Retexture. Which makes Alduin look like that. And it obviously, depending on what ENB you're using and all the different bits and pieces... It's just out of all the Alduin retextures, I find this one to really fit really well inside the game. Because there are a couple out there that add like some really fancy things, but I don't know, this one just seems to work. You see him in the air and it's just wow. Yeah, Deathwing was one that I saw. I did have a look at that, but I don't know. Why didn't I use that one? Deathwing inspired. Are you using the original or the reloaded? I'm assuming you're using the reloaded one, the newer version. Why didn't I use this? There was a reason somewhere why I didn't use this, but I think this one was with the ENB that I'm using. This one just glowed like hell and didn't really. I think this might have been the one that I put in my game, and with the I'm using Vividian's ENB. But no, I like the one I'm using. His load? Oh, you mean the load screens? Yeah, probably the guy who's done the reloaded version hasn't updated the load screens with the meshes and textures yet. Or maybe he just completely forgotten. Because the load screens are actually totally separate files, as far as I know. But yeah, so in my load order, obviously I've got the optimized vanilla textures. I did have my own version. I did originally have my textures DDoS. Not DDoS. That's a completely different thing. What's it called? The optimized with the DD-SOPT. There we go, DDS-OPT. I did have that all sorted out, but then somebody sat there and just released a mod with them all, so I was just sort of like, screw it, I'll use his. It's easier. But yeah, at the top here we've got the optimized textures, then we've got the unofficial patch, and blah blah blah, all the way down. I've got my clean DSMs, the script extenders, and then straight away I've got a section of fixes. So I've got the auto unequip ammo, which is just really, it's not really like it's one of those mods you can live without, but once you've had it, you're like, yeah, I want to keep it in. It just makes sure that when you're not holding a bow, you haven't got arrows on your back. That's about it. We've got better stealth AI for followers, which is very, very handy, because that one basically means that when you crouch, they crouch and they put their torch away, or their lantern, or whatever they're using. We got the dead body collision fix, self-explanatory. I do have the dragon stalking fix here, but at the minute I've got it turned off because I'm using the latest version of Dragon Combat Overhaul, which apparently includes that. We got the enchantment reload, fix for combat music, follower trap safety, Fuzzro Dough. I don't exactly know what it does, but there's a couple of mods I'm using that say you need it, and it's just one of those SKSE tweaks. We got improved weapon impact effects. Literally all that adds is when you hit a wall with a sword, it sparks. That's it. Then we got immersive detection of NPC, because it is far better than immersive lighting. Move it, damn it, less wait time. I don't think I even need that anymore because I'm using EFF and you can set it in EFF, but I've been using that forever, so. Smarter water AI, no NPC greetings. One tweak's really good for adding. If I just go to the config file, you can. Whoops. There you go. One tweak adds borderless window, the double cursor fix, and a bunch of other things just to help with a little bit of stability every now and then. And it adds the borderless window. We've got point the way, which adds a fuck ton of new. I can't remember words today. Point the way adds a fuck ton of new signs throughout the game, all over the place. Ragdoll paralysis, again, practically self-explanatory. You kill somebody, they fall to the ground like a ragdoll. We've got the community on Kappa, enhanced camera, which is amazing for tweaking your first-person view. I don't like playing Skyrim in third person, so. We got project optimization, smaller spike and ice spear, smarter soul, stable U-grids, and 2 rings. One thing I do want to point out, just quickly, is this, the Skyrim Revisited Legendary Edition. What the why? Why would you want to randomly drop dead while playing Skyrim? That doesn't add anything. I mean, I'm using I need, so if I don't drink anything for 3 days, I'll die. If I don't eat, I'll die. If I get a disease, I'll die. But, I mean, I've got frostfall as well, so if I'm out and about freezing cold, I'll die. But why would you want to just randomly fall over dead? How does that benefit anybody? But yeah, if you Google Skyrim Revisited Legendary Edition, you'll find it on the Step forums. And this is the guide that I started looking at ages and ages ago. And every now and then I come back on here to see what's going on. It's actually made by Neovalen. Neovalen is the guy who created Dual Sheath Redux, amongst many other mods. And essentially it's just a really, really good guide. But I'm in the process of creating my own guide, which is why I'm going through and recording and doing all sorts of bits and pieces. But this is definitely a hell of a lot worth looking at. Which is why you'll notice I've got some mods with double dashes before, some without. That's just for myself. So I know that if there's a double dash in front, that's a mod that I've added myself. And if there's no dashes, that's a mod directly from his guide. But that's quite old. What else we got? Yeah, down straight after the fixes section, we get to user interface, where I've got the main menu, wallpaper, Sky UI, Blocksteel Redux. Blocksteel Redux is pretty good. The first time you use it, it takes a while to set up because it adds a bag in game, and anything that you add into that bag you cannot pick up ever again. So stupid crap like, you know, pottery and bits of paper and embalming tools and stuff like that, you don't want to pick those up. You don't want to steal them. You don't want to pick them up. You're never going to use them. So if you add them in that bag, this mod blocks you from ever picking that up. It's a bit of a bastard to set up, but once it's set up, you're sorted. I've got the extended UI mod as well, because I'm using Perma and it helps a lot of things. Plus, it looks really pretty. Right, what else we got? Down in HUD, we've got Matter of Time clock widget. I've got the FIS, the File Access Interface, blah de blah, only because that's required to help you save your configuration for Matter of Time. Obviously, we've got Gopher's I Heard, Immersive Wait and Sleep. Yeah, I didn't use Block Steel, but I put it in my game, used it for a while, and then I was trying to go through and have a little bit of a clean out. And I removed Block Steel, and then I was wandering around, and I kept finding I was holding mugs and embalming tools and hundreds of things that are completely and utterly fucking pointless. In my opinion, anything that's got a value to weight ratio of lower than 5 is a complete waste of time picking up. So I put those into the Block Steel bag, and I never pick them up. It just makes it a lot easier. There's no point wandering around the entirety of Skyrim picking up 8,000 embalming tools when you can just pick up 1 iron ingot. You know, I just got really bored of constantly getting to the end of a dungeon and having to dump a load of crap so I could walk out of the fucking dungeon. I'm not saying you have to use them though. You know, we all mod our games differently. But, yeah, what else have I got? I got more HUD, no poison dialogues. Oh, it's so fucking helpful when you play an archer. Because, obviously, if you're playing an archer, you're going to make a load of poisons. And then you're going to hotkey those poisons to whatever. You know, hit your hotkey, bang, you got a dialogue coming up saying, "Are you sure you want to apply this to your bow?" Yes, then you can fire. You put that on there, removes it completely. All you got to do is push your hotkey, bang, done. Why would I install a mod to make embalming tools good and then find another mod to make all the other useless items good when I can just install one little mod that helps me with my thievery and helps me block picking up shitty items? It's just a lot easier. But again, that's for me. That's the wonderful thing about modding. You don't mod a game because someone's told you to. You mod a game because you want to. You do what you want. But obviously I've got race menu, better dialogue, better message box. I'm using dungeon quest awareness as well. Just I don't dig graves. I'm not. I don't find that useful in Skyrim. I don't go. I'm not even using the expanded the death thing, the mod that adds all the extra death and things like that. What's it called? No, you know which one I mean. I'm not using it anyway. But I am using dungeon quest awareness because I just get sick and tired of the amount of times I've had playthroughs on this game, and then you go through, you run around, you do a fuckload of like dungeons and all the rest of it, and then you think, screw it, I'm gonna go and do the Winterhold quests, and then Winterhold sends you to 4 dungeons where you've already been. All this mod does is changes the name, so you know when it pops up and it says you have discovered anal leakage challenge or whatever, it now pops up and says, you have discovered so-and-so, so-and-so, in brackets, Falkreath. That's all it does. It just adds a little bit extra to the name of places so that you're not running around into dungeons that are part of a quest line. What else we got here? We've got extensible follower framework because it's the best one around. Face-to-face conversation. Atlas map markers. I'm using the full legendary version of that. We also have Tezzarena, which is absolutely fantastic. If you've never seen it, go and have a look at it. The guy who made this, if you read through all of this crap down here, basically the guy's saying that he's been playing Elder Scrolls since they first came out. And then when he came to Skyrim, he noticed there was only 5 cities and a handful of towns. Whereas according to Elder Scrolls Arena, There should be all of these. There should be Riften, Greenwall, Sungard, Reich Corrigan, Oakwood, Northkeep. So this guy's actually added them all into the game. Every single one of these little towns has been added into the game by him. They all exist in the exterior world, so they're all basically the same as like Carthswarthen or Riverwood. So when you're out and about, sometimes they, depending on your system and all the rest of your mods, blah blah blah, it can affect your performance, but it just adds so much. They are all included in the Radiant quests as well. So whenever you pick up one of those random little quests that says go and ask this guy for some money or whatever, you could end up getting sent to one of these brand new little towns and cities. Oh, there's one that he's added himself. They've all got NPCs, they've all got shops and bakers and blacksmiths and guards and everything. Really, really well made mod. I've got Undeath, Wheels of Lull and Worm's Tooth. I'm not using Falskar, just mainly because, in my opinion, Falskar's boring. Once you've played through Falskar, you go to Falskar, you play it through, you're like, wow, this place is actually really, really nice. You go in there, you play through the quest line, and then it's like, there's nothing else. There's about 3 side quests, and if you just go wandering around Falskar, all you're doing is walking around the woods. There's not a lot there. Whereas Worm's Tooth, for me, is a far more in-depth mod. Yeah, Falskar is... I mean, don't get me wrong, Falskar is very, very well made, but he needs to spend a lot more time adding Radiant quests and side quests, and we need more. There needs to be more spawn points there, and there needs to be a load of random dungeons for that. Because I mean, you walk around Worm's Tooth or Skyrim or Solstheim, and you're walking around, and you just have a bunch of random side quests. There's random dungeons that don't appear in anything. It's just a dungeon there, whereas Falskar doesn't have them. This is Worm's Tooth. It's by Jonxer, WYRMS Tooth, and it's essentially just like Falskar. It's a DLC sized mod. Go and have a look at it. The mod starts when you hit level 10, and some guy comes up to you and says, "Oh, I've got a quest for you. Please go and talk to this guy." You go and talk to him, and he just says, "Yeah, we live on this island, and we're all being battered and harassed by this dragon. Can you come and help us?" And you're probably talking a good, like for the main quest line, you're probably talking a good 15 hours. It's a really well-made mod, really long and in-depth. It's compatible with practically everything. It's got a massive world space. The map is fantastic. There's loads of random side quests to do as well. You've got swamps in there and mountains and like fields and stuff. If you tried Falskar, go and give Worm's Tooth a try. Worm's Tooth is far better and really, really worth the playthrough. I've played through Worm's Tooth about 3 or 4 times. There's a massive dungeon at the end of it as well. Oh, it's definitely not easy, no. You have to, part of the quest, you end up going into a mountain, and then you spend about 4 days travelling down into the depths of the earth before you finally find this dragon. And the dragon turns out to be pretty damn hard as well. If I'm right, I think Worm's Tooth is almost all leveled towards the character. You know, they're not set at level 10. They adjust to your levels. You're going to have to excuse me because I haven't eaten yet today and I'm starving. Yeah, we've got honestly, mate, you are going to really, really enjoy. It is very big, but it's worth it. It is compatible with hang on a sec, if I just turn it off we can find out. Realistic Water has got a patch for it. ELE has got a patch for it. Skyfalls and Sky Mills have got a patch for it. Obviously you don't need these patches. All it is just there's a patch so that the water I think the Realistic Water one for Wormstooth is just the waves, so you can live without that. ELE, obviously the enhanced lighting for ENB for Wormstooth would be pretty handy to have if you're using ELE anyway. Skyfalls and Sky Mills, again, it's not going to break your game if you don't use it. That's Thunderchild, but yeah, that's basically all that is. Oh, yeah. Elemental Dragons, just, I was actually looking at using Elemental Dragons, but I don't like it because it's a pure replacer. But, yeah, Elemental Dragons replaces all of the dragons, but the Wormstooth dragon is a completely separate one. It's a totally brand new dragon that he's added. He hasn't sat there and just taken Alduin and just changed his name or something. It's got a whole new form ID. It's a completely separate dragon from anything in the game. So it's compatible with all dragon mods. But Wormstooth really, really is good. And like I say, you don't have to... It's not like some of these mods where you have to go hunting to try and find the start of the mod. As long as you're above level 10, some random guy just comes up to you and says, I've got a note for you. And then you read the note and he sends you to the pub in Whiterun, and there's a guy in there who's basically saying, look, we need your help. Are you sure? I could have sworn Elemental Dragons was... Am I getting confused with a different one? Isn't Elemental Dragons the one that... Isn't Elemental Dragons the one that adds the fat dragons and stuff? Yeah, there you go. Number 1, straight away. This mod adds 45 new dragons to the leveled lists. It's important to note that they replace the vanilla dragons. He's even put that in bold. Oh yeah, it still adds normal standard dragons and stuff, but it just replaces the dragons. And there's a lot of people. If you look on the Dragon Combat Overhaul page, there's a lot of people saying that it's just completely incompatible. It doesn't cause game-breaking issues. It's just everything that Dragon Combat Overhaul does has no effect whatsoever on any of the new dragons. So I'm waiting for somebody to bring out an add-on to it. There must be somebody out there who's working on creating a different version of the mods that just adds that creates additions, like additional dragons instead of replaces. It's just because I'm using a fuckload of other dragon mods and I like to add new dragons rather than replace standard ones. We will get to dragons though. At the minute we're only in weather. So I'm using pure weather, the Brighter Nights version, because I'm a pussy. Oh yeah, normal dragons can get boring, but if you use Dragon Combat Overhaul plus deadly dragons and Bellyache's new dragon species, you're fine. Why the hell is... No, whatever. So yeah, I'm using Pure Weather, the Brighter Nights version. Vividian ENB, I'm using the Vivid version of that, with just the standard set. Yeah, I get the same with Pure Weather. If you mix Pure Weather with Vividian ENB, you get very, very nicely dark nights. The only difference is when you use the standard version of Pure Weather, almost every single night is pitch black. Whereas if you use the Brighter Nights version, there's basically a higher chance of getting a clear night. You still get the pitch black ones, but you get a lot more chance of getting clear nights, and I like to be able to see the stars and stuff. So, again, personal preference. I've got ELE. I'm only using version 0.95. I haven't gone for the alpha yet. But what I've done is I've got the Worm's Tooth, Solstheim, and all the different bits and pieces, and I've merged those together to save on some space. Wet and Cold's awesome. I'm not using realistic lighting. I prefer ELE. General world improvement. This is just the base mods. I've got the Ruffled Feather, which is Optic Shooter. This is basically all of Optic Shooter's mods blended together. So you've got water, better dynamic snow, decreased plants, blah blah blah. But obviously I'm not using all of them. I'm not using water and stuff like that. We've got No Stretching, SMIM, Skyrim Realistic Overhaul, ELFX. I'm only using the outdoors for ELFX and ELE for indoors. Then we've got Project Parallax, Relighting Skyrim that's been tailored for ELFX. I found that on Neovalen's guide. And Glowing Ore Veins as well. I know there's a big debate about Glowing Ore Veins. Quite a few people have had a go at me for using it, but fuck you. It's fun when you get stuff like that happening. Well, I've got True Storms installed, and I've got a few other mods. So I've got a few other mods installed that tweak the textures for snow and stuff like that. So it is fun when you can barely see, but when you're going out and every single time there's a snowstorm, you can't see a thing. Yeah, exactly. Now, every single time a dragon turns up, you can't see it. Every single time it's night, you can't see a fucking thing. It's just... That's why I prefer using the Brighter Nights version. Because you still do get the awesome pitch black and you get the amazing snow, but you actually do get chance to run around and actually play the game as well. Alright, we've got most of these down here are just textures for clutter and stuff like that. We got animated clutter, Dwemer lifts, dragon bones, candle meshes, immersive icicles, lanterns of Skyrim, Peltapalooza, rustic alchemy, rustic potions, clutter, soul gems. Most of those are just like random texture mods. But then down here we got landscape and environment. So this is nope, not answering that. We have a Midian-born caves. Stop ringing. Shh. Stop it. There we go. Yeah, the in-game sound can help. Well, obviously for fighting dragons and stuff. Unless you're a complete cheat and you leave the compass up permanently. Oh, fuck off! I'm not answering you! I don't care about PPI. Right, where was... Oh yeah, landscape and environment stuff. This is the bits that get like nice and fun. This is why my game looks so awesome. We've got a Midian-born caves. Also, most of my... I do realise that I'm running a very good computer, but at the same time, in order to keep the RAM usage down so that I don't go over the 3.1 gig limit, I've had to do most of my... Well, all of my world textures are 1K. Most of my indoor textures are 2K or below. But yeah, we've got a Midian-born's caves and his Solstheim landscape. Ethereal auras, the Skyrim high definition LODs, quality world map, Yui's Galaxy. Oh mate, this is just... Oh my god, he got rid of it. Haha, awesome. It's a fantastic Galaxy mod, but there's loads of Galaxy mods out there. We have lightning during thunderstorms, because it's awesome. Moon glow, no snow under the roof, rainbows, real ice, realistic aspen trees. We've got realistic water too. Red Mountain erupts. That one's one of those mods you can easily live without. Doesn't really do a lot. It just means so that when you're in Skyrim, Red Mountain's got a plume of smoke above it. Simply bigger trees. Right. Providing you have got enough RAM left, try that mod. All the guy has done in that mod is he has taken the meshes for every single tree in the game and increased their size. Nah, yeah, I'm actually using colourful magic. But again, calm your passions, we will get there. But yeah, simply bigger trees. The guy has taken all the meshes for trees in the game and increased their size by 1.5. So instead of walking around Skyrim and going, oh look, a nice tree, you're walking around Skyrim and it's like you're walking around in a forest of redwoods. It just makes every single tree in Skyrim epic. And then you've got a couple of patches for them as well. I'm using Shooting Stars as well because it's a really nice mod. Obviously, I've already mentioned Skyfalls and Skymill. Skyrim Better Roads. Again, it's one of those little gems that doesn't really do that much. But look at that there. Standard road coming up to Solitude. After, you just got a little bit of a wall. And there you go there. Up at Iverstead. He just adds a few little things here and there. Outside Whiterun. There we go. We all recognise that slot. Bang. He just adds a few little things. You know, a few little fences and stuff. Just to make it look. There you go. There's an actual in-game shot. You see what I mean? All he's added there is just a few little fences. But it just makes the roads of Skyrim, especially when you're near towns and cities, you expect the road near a town and city to be a little bit more developed than... Fucking hell, it's getting dark. There we go. It's bright again. Ish. But yeah. This one here just makes it so that when you're near towns and cities, the roads are just a little bit more developed. They feel more like a main road to a city rather than just a random paved bit of ground. A few more texture packs. We got Splash of Rain, Tamriel Reloaded Grasses. You'll notice that I haven't mentioned Skyrim Flora Overhaul. That's because in a bid to try and reduce my RAM usage so that I could put fuckloads more mods in, I went through and I thought one day, I've been using Skyrim Flora Overhaul since a week after it was released. I wonder what Skyrim actually looks like without it. I took that out and I was like, well, I've got a 20 frame per second boost and the game looks almost the same. You know. Skyrim Flora Overhaul, all it really does is it tweaks grass, plants, and trees. I've got simply bigger trees, so that's that. I've got Tamriel Reloaded Grasses, and the plants get covered by a couple of the other mods as well. So, what else have we got? Telvanni Reborn, that's another one from Neovalen's Guide that just basically updates a few textures in Solstheim. Ultimate HD Fire Effects, I think that's the medium. No, low resolution actually. Again, that was to try and lower my RAM usage because you don't want to get into the middle of a battle and have like 6 people all using fire magic and then you crash because you ran out of fucking RAM. And even the low version still looks awesome. So, well. Alright, then I've got Vivid Clouds and Fogs. Because, well, look at that. That's why I'm using Vivid Clouds and Fogs. Because it's amazing. It's also basically an add-on mod to Vividian ENB. Yeah, I'm going to delete that because no. We've got Vivid Landscapes all in one. Yeah, they'll be covered in blood, but I mean, it's a small price to pay to be able to add 6 other mods into the game, really, isn't it? You got a choice. Use one mod, this mod here, that makes things look slightly better, destroys your frame rate, and requires a bunch of patches. You know, it's, for me, SFO was just, once I took it out, it helped me so much with my game. It's one of those mods that works fantastically on a vanilla game or a very low modded game, but once you start getting up to, well, like I say, I'm up to 245 ESPs. The Skyrim limit is 255. So once you start getting to the point of having all these like fucking hundreds of mods like I've got, you start sitting there thinking, right, what can I take out to increase my frame rate and what can I replace it with? And but yeah, I've got the Vivid Landscapes mods, because they're all awesome. They're made to work with ENBs. The Tundra region, I'm actually in the process of testing that because I don't think it matches up very well with the other... the LOD ones definitely need to stay off because otherwise the game just looks fucking appalling with the other LOD textures. But I'm still testing the Tundra region to see if that's actually any good. Open Cities used to be so good. I started using that because I used Open Cities in Oblivion. Yeah. The problem is that for the way that Skyrim works compared to Oblivion, Open Cities is one of those mods that you either use Open Cities or you mod your game. There's just far, far, far too many mods that are completely incompatible with it. Practically any Dragon mod doesn't work with open cities. There's just so many that don't work. It's a massive shame. But at the same time, even if you play a vanilla Skyrim on an Nvidia fucking GTX 980, you run open cities and your frame rate plummets. Right, what else have we got? Webs extended. Obviously, basically just texture pack for webs. Fences of Skyrim. You know when you're walking up towards Whiterun and you can see that lattice fence in the background and it starts flickering with your anti-aliasing and all the rest of it? Bang! Sorted! Actually, slightly more immersive. They fit really well. The textures blend in with all the rest of my texture packs. Helps a little bit with your frame rates. And they're all fully capable with ENB. They're not flat, you know, they've actually got texture to them and thickness and things. And look, it just works. I mean, some guy who is wearing crap like that is not going to have the time to create a full in-depth latticed fence, really, is he? In my mind, that's a far better fence. Right, now then, effects. This is where I've got my magic and stuff. We have alternate summoning visuals. Just because it's good. We have Apocalypse and more Apocalypse. Adds loads of awesome magic. Just loads of awesome magic. We've got Burn Free Shock Effects. Again, these are all on like the lower settings because... when you actually play the game, things like Deadly Spell Impacts and Burn Freeze Shock Effects, when you're actually running round, just playing the game, doing quests, you spot them on the wall, and that's about it. The only time you stop and take a proper stare at the Deadly Spell Impacts and the Burn Freeze Shock Effects is when you first install the mod. After that, you don't really notice it. Obviously, you know it's there, but you don't exactly run around going, ooh, look at the sparkliness in the wall. You don't. It just doesn't happen. So you might as well save some VRAM, help your stability, and use a lower res version of the game. You know they're there. In the middle of a battle, you can see them when you're running around. You know, you're hitting someone with lightning magic and you get bang, 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 bang. It's there. Then you're running along and you're going over there to go kill the rest of the guys. That's all you need. But, yeah, we love Apocalypse. There's colourful magic. I'm using the Winterhold edition. Just because personally I reckon that's where it should be. Shiny. Enchanted Arsenal. Because it is like, well good. In it, bruv. But no, Enchanted Arsenal, I don't know whether you know about it or not. It essentially, you know all the other mods that tweak the enchantment effects? Yeah, this mod includes all of them. There you go. So, Sea Enchantments, Animated Weapon Enchantments, Enchantments Upgraded, Animated Enchantments Overhaul, Enchantment Effect Replacer, Glyphic Enchantments, all of those mods are included in Enchanted Arsenal, and he gives you an MCM menu. Again, it's one of those mods that takes a fucking long time to set up, but once it has been set up, you can save your setting. You can save your preset, start a brand new game and just go to presets and click load. But you can literally choose everything. You can sit there and say, for fire... there you go. You can sit there and say for fire magic, I want to have this shader, and I want to have that. I want to use the glowing effect on the sword from that mod, but I want to use the sparkly effect on the mod from that sword. I want the effect from that mod when I hit people, you know, and stuff like that. So you can blend and make your own perfect enchantment effects. Yeah, Enchanted Arsenal doesn't add enchantments. It's only the enchantment effects. So when you have a flame, when you have a fire enchantment, you can either make your sword go completely into flames, or you can just have the sword glow lightly in red with a little bit of sparkliness. You know, you can choose how intense that is. My favourite boss in Colourful Magic, to be honest, I've got, like, when we get further down here, you'll see I've got so many shit. I honestly couldn't even tell you which bosses are from Colourful Magic, but the one thing I absolutely love is that cat wearing a pirate outfit. Cat in a pirate outfit is awesome. Whoa, 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 whoa. What's happening to my... Why am I getting so many dropped frames? Right, well, I'm sorry, guys, but... Yeah, that cat is very interesting. Yeah, sorry guys, my stream apparently, according to OBS, there you go, you can see it there. My stream's completely fucking up. I don't know what's happening there. Short of rebooting everything, I don't know what to do. I'll just carry on. If it gets unbearable, I'm sorry. Anyway, back to this. We have enhanced blood textures, Electrify. If you haven't seen Electrify, go fucking get it. Look at that for lightning effects. All Electrify does, it's just a texture mod. So it changes the lightning textures to these ones. Look at them. So much better. And we have the footprints mod. No, it's not on your side, mate. Honestly, I've got like I'm down to, what's that? I've got 2%. I've got like 2,000 drop frames. I haven't got a clue what's going on there. Normally I'm streaming at like 2.3, 2.4, and I'm getting red at like...
Turn the stream off, reset your stream key, Twitch sent a major update.
Oh, was Twitch just, what, like literally just?
No, it's been fucking around.
Yeah, I know. Twitch got hacked like a week ago when everyone's had to do it. I reset my stream key about an hour ago.
Yeah, no, just keep resetting it. It sounds stupid, but I've had some major issues with resetting it. It seems to work. Cigarette?
Yeah. 1 second. Right, I'll just finish this section, guys. I've got Footprints mod, Immersive Spells and Light. That's a good one if you play mage characters. All that does is it just makes the ball of magic in your hand actually glows now. Sounds simple as fuck, I know, but then we've got Predator Vision, Smart Cast. That's just my own little cheat mod, but it's basically automatic spell casting. And then we have True Storms as well, which completely overhauls the textures for lightning and water and things. But right, I'm going to pause this stream now because I'm going to go and smoke because I'm a dirty evil bastard. And I shall be back in a few minutes.
Oh my word, this tune is annoying. Yes, I know it's really annoying. I can't get this song out of my head. Make it stop, this tune is annoying. I gotta go to work in the morning. Now I'm gonna be humming it in my bed. Oh my word, this tune is annoying. Yes, I know it's really annoying. I can't
Subscribe, why not, yes?
Oh my word, this tune is annoying. Yes, I know it's really annoying. I can't get this song out of my head. Make it stop, this tune is annoying. I gotta go to work in the morning. Now I'm gonna be humming it in my bed. Oh my word, this tune is annoying. Yes, I know it's really annoying. I can't get this song out of my head. Make it stop, this tune is annoying. I gotta go to work in the morning. Now I'm gonna be humming it in my bed. Oh my word, this tune is annoying. Yes, I know it's really annoying. I can't get this song out of my head. Make it stop, this tune, and I gotta go to work in the morning. Now I'm gonna be humming it in my bed.
Subscribe, why not, yes?
Oh my word, this tune is annoying. Yes, I know it's really annoying. I can't get this song out of my head. Make it stop, this tune is annoying. I gotta go to work in the morning. Now I'm gonna be humming it in my bed. Oh my word, this tune is annoying. Yes, I know it's really annoying. I can't get this song out of my head. Make it stop, this tune is annoying. I gotta go to work in the morning. Now I'm gonna be humming it in my bed. Oh my word, this tune is annoying. Yes, I know it's really annoying. I can't get this song out of my head. Make it stop, this tune is annoying. I gotta go to work in the morning. Now I'm gonna be humming it in my bed.
Subscribe, why not, yes?
Oh my word, this tune is annoying. Yes, I know it's really annoying. I can't get this song out of my head.
And what's wrong with this song? There is nothing wrong with Weeble stuff. Right, guys, I'm gonna go through the rest of my mod list on here, but then when I start cracking on, I'm gonna have to reset the stream because I'm up to 7,000 dropped frames on this. It's irritating the fuck out of me. I'll carry on going through this list for you though, because I know you're interested to see what I got. Scared you? How did I scare you? You're going to be sat there humming that, aren't you? Oh my god, this song is annoying. Oh my god, it's really annoying. That's exactly why I chose it. But anyway, back to this. Yeah, True Storms was one that I wanted to show off because I really do love this mod. It's amazing. True Storms is... It does tweak a few things. It's got a couple of... But it's got patches for pure weather and all the other weather mods. But have a look at this. These are in-game images. How awesome does that look? Instead of walking around Skyrim and Frostfall telling you it's raining really hard, now you can see it's raining really fucking hard. It also tweaks the thunder sounds as well, so when you're going around playing, the sounds of thunder are just amazing. But, right, yeah, now we're down to modified and expanded quests section. We've got alternative start, obviously. Yeah, it does look really, really good. But, what? is that still telling me that I'm missing one? ATAC merged. Where's... Oh, that's why. I think I need to remake that. Blur, whatever. I've got Civil War Overhaul. I haven't actually got to the point of playing the Civil War yet, so I don't know how awesome that mod is, but from what I've read about it, and it's made by the same guy who made Dragon Combat and all the rest of them, he's an amazing modder, so that mod should be amazing. It's that simple. We have Cutting Room Floor, Provincial Courier Service, and the Paarthurnax Dilemma. Paarthurnax Dilemma is basically a standard mod that everyone should be using. We've got, right, Expanded Towns section. That's quite a big one. We've got Beautiful Whiterun, because it makes Whiterun look awesome. Instead of Whiterun being dead and empty, Whiterun now looks like that. It just adds, there you go, vanilla. Oh, my mouse just ran out of battery. Vanilla's on the right hand side. Oh, the Paarthurnax one, all that does is, you know when you get to the end of the quest line in the standard game, you have one choice. Kill Paarthurnax, and that's it. You can either do the quest or not. Well, the Paarthurnax Dilemma tweaks the quest so that you have the choice. You can actually turn around and say, no, I'm not going to kill him. It's made by Arthmore, the same guy who makes the unofficial patches. And here we go. Disappointed with how ruthless and unforgiving the Blades were at the end of the main quest, felt like you should have been able to put your foot down and make them see reason. Well, now you can. All it means is when you get to that point when the blonde bitch says you need to go kill him, if you keep talking to her, you can actually turn around and just put your foot down and say, no, I'm the fucking Dragonborn, and I'm telling you he is going to stay alive. It's that easy. But you should really go and have a look at that Skyrim Revisited. Just Google Skyrim Revisited Legendary Edition. Go through that list, and that's where I learned everything that I've learned and gone through everything. And obviously I've added my own mods over the top. But yeah, Expanded Towns and Villages. We have Beautiful Whiterun. We got book covers Skyrim. I don't know, that is actually really in the wrong place. Why did I put that down there? There's absolutely no need. That shouldn't. Book cover Skyrim should be up in clutter. Yeah, I've been away from gaming for a couple of weeks. Been busy with life. There we go. Yeah, here we go. We've got Elysium Estate, which is my favourite house mod. Adds a house just outside Whiterun. When you come straight out of Whiterun, when Whiterun's behind you, it's just to the right. It's an amazing player house. We've got Expanded Towns and Cities, which I've merged myself to turn the 55 mods into 2. I've got the Immersive College of Winterhold. Skyrim Radioactive. Go and have a look at Skyrim Radioactive. There you go. That is Arcadia's Cauldron in Whiterun. Skyrim Radioactive just tweaks the indoors of a lot of shops. It also does the Windhelm Docks. Oh, sorry, no, Solitude. Yeah, Solitude Docks, Windhelm Docks, and a lot of indoors. So you've got Arcadia's Cauldron. There you go. It tweaks all of these places and just overhauls the shops inside so they look fan-fucking-tastic. I've also got True City. It's just an expansion of Solitude, mainly on the outside, because Solitude is supposed to be the capital. Yeah, I've looked at Morscombe Estate. I've actually got one of my mates is using Morscombe Estate. I set it up for him, but personally, it's just House Mods really is one of those incredibly personal things. For me, Elysium Estate just works brilliantly. Morscombe Estate was fun, but it just too much hassle for me. Elysium Estate's just got everything nearby. You don't have to spend 20 minutes running around to put your alchemy over there, and then put your potions over there, and then put your books over there. It's, you know, it's easier. Yeah. True City turns the capital of Skyrim into a capital fucking city. Adds a new section on the inside, so you've got adds a whole new expanded area there. And just makes the whole city look like a capital city. It's supposed to be the capital city owned by the Imperials. You know, it's supposed to be this big war-torn city and blah blah blah, and it does it. But then on the other side of the map, you've got Windhelm industrialized. Windhelm is supposed to be the city used by the rebels that are trying to create and build their own big, massive, like, coup. So why the hell isn't the city industrialized? You got a big, massive tower there. Look at all these guns on the outside. I'm not sure how well you can see those. There you go. You got all the guns on the outside. Windhelm is supposed to be battling up. It's supposed to be getting ready for the war for the country. It also tweaks the inside as well and adds a few extra things. Here you go. Here's a shot from just inside the gates. So it adds all these pipes and things. But what it adds them all to the top of buildings. So it doesn't get in the way of anything. You're just walking around the city looking up, going like, wow. It adds a few other things in a few places as well. There's a couple of the swamps around Skyrim have now got what can only be described as oil fields. It's really, really good. It just adds that extra little bit of like wow to the game when you're walking around. Right, what section are we at now? We're now at Creatures of Skyrim. We've got vanilla creatures and tweaks. I've got animal tweaks. Basically, it does what it says. It tweaks animals, you know, tweaks their AI and their levels and things. Just makes them a little bit more realistic so that lions and tigers won't come like running straight at you if they see you, but if you don't pay attention to their warning, they will fucking destroy you. We've got Bellyache's HD Dragon Replacers. That's just a texture mod. Obviously, we've got the more dramatic Alduin. Pondfish and Salmon. That's, again, just textures. True Elk of Skyrim. That one popped up in the new files. Some guy noticed that, there you go, this is an elk. This is a moose. This is a fuck knows what that is. So he decided that he was going to recreate the textures and meshes for the elks in Skyrim so they actually look like elk. It's not a major overhaul. It's just one of those little tweaks that just adds that little bit extra, you know. We've got True Wolves, which is a very customizable mod. Again, True Wolves is just another texture mesh replacer. There's no ESPs involved. Very compatible with everything. And when you install it, you get a lot of customization options. So you get a choice of 3 or 4 textures for each type of wolf when you install it. It is a little bit hit and miss. It depends on what ENBs you're using or if you're using an ENB, because, you know, if you're using an ENB, don't choose white, because otherwise they will glow. You'll just have this fucking wolf-shaped light bulb running around the game and it'll look retarded. But it just allows you just to tweak things a little bit. Obviously, I'm using convenient horses. I've got Animalica as well. Animalica just adds a load of new passive animals, mainly. Where's the list? There you go. It adds, and they're all added to the leveled list. You've got new bears, boars, deer, prehistoric cats, big cats, gazelles, antelopes, pheasants, more rabbits, raccoons, rhinos. But they're all added to the leveled lists, and they are added in the correct areas. So, you know, like the new snow bears are actually only appear in the mountains, and cats only appear in the fields and things like that. Another very well made mod. We've got Bellyache's new dragon species. Does exactly what it says on the tin. Doesn't replace any, it adds new dragons. Fully compatible with any of the dragon mods as well. We have Birds of Skyrim. This one adds, as you can see there, it adds like crows and cockerels and things like that around the game. Gopher actually did a thing on this. It's like when you're walking around the game, you're walking around the towns and cities, you'll find like pigeons just lying around on the floor. When you're going around the world of Skyrim, you'll find like, there you go, like little finches and stuff. Just little birds that are just bouncing around on the ground, just going around their way. But then when you get near them, they run off. Deadly Dragon. Skybirds does almost the same as Birds of Skyrim, except this one adds flying birds. So when you're going around towns and cities, you'll spot new birds, just new species of birds just flying around randomly. There you go. Just new birds that just fly around, because obviously whenever you get to populated areas, there are always loads of birds. Every city on the planet is infested with birds. So why wouldn't that happen in Skyrim? Well, now it does. We have Skyrim Immersive Creatures, because personally I find it the far better option than any of the other monster mods. It's just... I hate using the word, but it really is so much more immersive. Instead of adding random... Because you get like the Skyrim Monster mod. Yeah, it adds loads of fantastic monsters, but they don't fit. They're not in the right place. You know, you've got like Morrowind monsters. Yeah, but Morrowind was actually about 700 years, if not 1,000 years before the world of Skyrim. And it's on the other side of the planet. You know, this one just adds new types of... Essentially, he takes the standard creatures that are in Skyrim, tweaks them, updates them, upgrades them, and adds new versions of them. And it's very tweakable as well. There's loads of MCM options. Now we're getting down to the people. So, I've got Apache hair, beards, brows, KS hairdos, just loads of new different types of hairstyles and shit like that, you know. Again, I'm using Eyes of Beauty, Eyes of Aber, and Cover Eyes just to add some more eye tech. Ooh, God, excuse me, some new eye textures to the game. And Eyes of Beauty actually also has a patch to allow you to add the new eyes and the new textures to all the other people. So when you're using face-to-face conversation, the camera zooms in and you can see the wonderful detail in their eyeballs. Right, skin and body. Oh, actually, no, first of all, just quickly, this entire section of the bodies and things like that is almost all taken directly from that guide. I didn't spend that long figuring this out. It's just Cover Eyes and Eyes of Aber I added myself, because I decided that I wanted a few extra different types. You know, they add some really fancy ones like demon style eyes and glowing ones and some really fancy ones. Eyes of Beauty just adds lots of different colours of realistic eyeballs. Eyes of Aber adds like Daedric style eyes and things like that, and Cover Eyes adds a load of like real like twinkly, sparkly, starry night ones and things like that. Skin and body, again, same deal. Most of these were added by him. I just did what he said. So we got Argonian females. It just tweaks the meshes mainly and lets the textures match up so that Argonian females actually have boobs and look like females. We have battle-hardened war paints, which I did myself. We got better males. I'm using the underwear version because I don't want to walk around Skyrim seeing a fucking cock flapping around. If I want to see boobs and cock, I'll watch porn. Dahl's Skyrim Scars. Very underrated mod, but by far the best scars in the game. Look at them. You can actually see that people have got scars on their face. Look, there's Skjor. Look at that. You can actually see the scar in his throat and the side of his face when you're playing the game. All the other mods, all they do is they just seem to tweak the textures, whereas that one makes the scars look like scars. They're deep and in the face. I've got Ethereal Elven Overhaul, which is a little bit of a bastard when you first start using it, but look at that. The one on the left, that is a vanilla elf. Dark elf, to be specific. On the right, we have an Ethereal Elven Overhaul elf. It's got the same colour eyes. It's got the same colour everything. But that one, it just looks square. It looks like it looks like the face was chiseled by Buzz Lightyear. It's retarded. Whereas this one, it's nice and smooth, but it still looks like an elf. They've still got the elongated features and everything. You see what I mean? It just so much better. We've got a lot of these down here are just like Argonian roots. It just tweaks the Argonians again. I think that one gives them feet. Yeah, I think that one gives them like spiky feet. We got Khajiit improvement, skin tweaks, rustic children. Because I was using RS children, but that mod's just far too much hassle. Whereas rustic children, bang, look at that, nothing but textures, so much easier. Compatibility through the roof. I am using the UNP body. Yes, I realise what I just said about boobs, but the UNP body is used by almost all of the decent... It's the best body mod out there, by far. And it's also used by a lot of the armour mods that I prefer. It's just the best option for body mods. More Warpaint mods. Again, their personal preference. Just search the Nexus for Warpaint. Animation skeleton, we've got belt-fashioned quivers, the animation only, because in XPMS Extended, it includes the meshes and everything you need. That's just the animation. Dragon Soul Absorbed More Glorious, because it is amazing. It takes the, you know when you get the top level spells, and your character stands there, you know, like with his arms out, and he, like, you go to, what is it, when you get the top level legendary spells and your character stands there and he floats off the ground and puts his arms out and it looks amazing. That now happens when you absorb a Dragon Soul. And there's another one there for Word Wall Learning More Glorious. Again, they do have some decent customization options, so you can play around with it a bit and choose which one you prefer. It just makes it look a lot better than your character standing there looking at the sky going, I'm absorbing a dragon. Yay. We've got dual wield parrying. Self-explanatory. Faster get up and stand up animation. Again, it's fucking irritating when you're going to attack a dragon. You get knocked down. You can't get up. You get knocked down again. You still can't get up. You try to get and you're dead. Yeah. Similar to that one. When you float up in the air and your arms go out, it adds, though, Dragon Soul. I'm actually using that exact one, but when you install the mod, you get, I think it's about 15 different options for what type of animation and how you want it to work. Because, obviously, absorbing a Dragon Soul, you are one of the few people that is alive today who is capable of absorbing the soul of a dragon. This massive, mythical godlike creature, and you're literally sucking its soul into your being. So why the hell is it that all that happens is you look up in the air and go, ooh? It should look a lot better. Right, what else? I've got Four's new idols. Four's new idols in Skyrim, because again, it fixes a lot and it's required by a lot of things that I'm using. So, HDT Physics is a patch that you can live without, but if you've got the CPU power for it, it's worth going. It adds true physics extensions to the game, but rather than using the Bethesda's style, like fake physics, this adds realistic physics to the game. You'll have to go and look in more in depth in that yourself. We've got immersive animations, no more spinning death. I really do like the Pretty Animations series, Pretty Combat, Pretty Staff, because the guy who makes those is some little Japanese guy, and you know what the Japanese are like, it's fucking amazing. Realistic ragdolls and force, again, that helps with HDT and stuff, so that when you kill somebody, you know the opening scene when you're choosing your character and that the little thief runs off, and he runs off round to the left and he gets shot by a bow and arrow. In a vanilla game, he gets shot by a bow and arrow and he goes fucking flying. It's like he's been hit, it's like he's been kicked by a rhino. He's just mental. Realistic ragdolls and force, he gets hit by an arrow, he face plants to the floor and slides about a meter. That's it. Right, what else? Right, now we're in the NPCs section. This is where I've added new NPCs and behaviours and stuff. So, there's Black Horse Courier Reborn. Those of you who played Morrowind and Oblivion may recognise that. It's just a couple of guys go around the whole of Skyrim giving out a newspaper. But the Black Horse Courier newspaper in this is actually updated by the quests that you have completed. So if you go around and you actually complete the Civil War, the Black Horse Courier will start going around saying how amazing you are because you helped the Imperials or the Stormcloaks finish the war. You helped bring peace to the world and stuff like that, you know. The follower commentary overhaul is very handy because we all hate it. You're running around, you've got a Khajiit behind you, and every 5 seconds, like, you're taking us somewhere warm, I trust. Yes, blah, blah, blah. They keep saying the same shit over and over again. The person who made this realised that you've got 16 characters in Skyrim. They all use the same voice. So why don't I just take all those 16 voices and apply them to the one follower? It gives you a lot more diversity in the comments that they say and stuff like that. But again, it's got an MCM menu and you can tweak it inside. So you can you can lower the frequency of how often they speak. I've actually got mine set to, I think it's 35%. Because otherwise you're walking around. You can't walk from Whiterun to fucking Riverwood without your follower continuously yabbering on about some shite. Use that mod, you can walk from Whiterun to Solstheim, and your follower will only say something twice, unless they have a specific line of text for this area that you've got to, you know, stuff like that. But the random generic things they say, you can tweak those. Guard dialogue overhaul, very similar, except it works on guards. So when you're in Whiterun and you've become the Dragonborn, they say more things along the lines of, you're the Dragonborn, I wish I could do that. Or they say, so you're the new blah, blah, you know, and it just extends the way they speak to you and just helps towns and cities feel a little bit more alive. Inconsequential NPCs just adds random nonsense NPCs to the game. You can't talk to them. They don't do a lot. All they do is they just wander around. Just add some more population to the game. And it is made with specific compatibility with interesting NPCs and lots of other mods. So it is definitely worth looking at. Inconsequential, as far as I know, I don't think Inconsequential adds people to the world. It only adds them to the towns and cities. So, you know, when you have a loading screen into, you know, like the 5 main cities, it only really adds them to there. Interesting NPCs. Go have a look at it. If you're not using it, kill yourself. I'm sorry, but it's that simple. Interesting NPCs adds hundreds of new people, loads of new followers, new quests, new items. It expands, it tweaks. It's just fucking awesome. Right, I'm using the Imperious Races of Skyrim. It's one of the race tweaks. It's made by Ni Sinon, the same guy who made Wintermist, Dweematech, Spectroverse, Thunderchild, Aura Standing Stones, and he made Apocalypse of Skyrim. So the guy who has made Apocalypse of Skyrim has made a race mod. The one main thing about that mod is the best thing of all. In Skyrim, you have racial abilities, yeah? Why is it that you're the only fucking person that knows how to use them? Not anymore. You know, as an orc, you get the ability to increase your stamina and all the rest of it and go into rage mode, or when you're an Imperial, you can do this, or when you're a cat, you can see at night and all the rest of it. Well, now, with this, obviously he's tweaked the races themselves as well, so it's using this mod's version of the racial abilities and things, but random people around the world use their racial abilities in battle. I think he adds one so that the Argonians can go invisible. So when you stop moving and crouch, Argonians go completely and utterly invisible. In almost every other mod, that would only be for the player character. Not anymore. If you're in a battle and you're fighting an Argonian, suddenly he will vanish. There's the Bretons have got, I think it's the Bretons or the Imperials, something like one of the human species, have got an ability where they can, like, kick out a massive blast around them to try and knock people over. Other people will do that to you now. But again, there's an MCM menu where you can tweak the chance of other people doing it. I've got it set quite low. There's 2 sliders. You've got the base chance of 5%. And then you've got a level chance, so that for every level of the NPC, they get an extra 0.25% chance. So say the NPC is level 10, they get an instant 5% chance that they will use their racial ability at any one moment. But for every level out of their 10 levels, they get an extra 0.25. So at level 10, they get an extra 2.5%. Meaning at level 10, a character has actually got 7.5% chance of using his racial ability. At level 20, he's got more. I can't count. But yeah, so and at level 30, they've got even more chance of using it and stuff like that. But obviously, you don't want to be sitting there and setting it really high and then taking it down and taking it down and taking it down. You want to sit there and think, right, this is the start of the game. When I get to level 50, I don't want an 80% chance that everyone's going to be using their racial abilities, because that's going to get fucking irritating. You know, I want to be at level 50 and have a 20% chance that everyone's going to use their abilities. You know, stuff like that. I'm using Immersive Patrols, the Civil War Overhaul version. It's all on the same mod page, but Immersive Patrols does what it says on the tin. You get Imperial patrols that go wandering around. You get I'm just going to look at the mod page because I am forgetting how to speak this evening. I believe I'm too sober. Where are they? Ah, there we go. Patrols of almost every major faction and the DLCs, including Stormcloak patrols, Thalmor, Imperials, Dawnguard, random travellers. You'll find like some random group of 3 people with one guy on a horse and they're just walking around. You know, you get merchants that wander around, extra bandits, you get Skarl, Redoran, Reavers, Reiklings. but they don't clutter the world up. Like I said there, without cluttering, they don't impose. You're not wandering around and constantly getting like hounded by all these random people coming in. You'll walk from Whiterun to Markarth and you'll come across like 2 or 3 patrols of people, maybe a merchant and stuff, but that's about it really. It's like in this whole section here, what I was trying to achieve was I was trying to populate the world of Skyrim, because in the standard world of Skyrim, in the vanilla game, you go to a city and you've got every single NPC in that city has a purpose. You know, that random beggar over there is there because he actually has a quest that you get from playing in the Thieves Guild. That random child is there because you've got Hearthfires installed. You know, all the rest of these people are doing jobs because he works at that shop and stuff, but where's all the rest of the random people? Why is there nobody walking around the world? There's supposed to be a civil war going on. Why is there no patrols of people and things? You know, that's what I was going for. And personally, I think I've done it quite well. My Home is Your Home is just a little add-on it's really, really, really useful for when you're using custom houses with followers. This makes it so that you can go to a custom house, set that house as your you can go into the house, turn around to your follower and say, this place here, this is now your home. Then you can fuck off to the other side of the Skyrim, dismiss your follower, and they'll go back to your player home that you've told them to go to. And it's also got a whole load of other things as well, where you can sit there and you can say, right, at 8 o'clock every morning, I want everybody to congregate here for breakfast. And during the day, I want you to go over there and do work. And in the afternoon, I want you to go over there and patrol and stuff like that. So if you're using Morscombe Estate, it could be very handy for that, because you can sit there at Morscombe Estate, go to the follower's bedroom, tell all of your followers, this place here is now your home. Then you can go down to the main entrance of Morscombe Estate and say, during the day, patrol here. Then you can go to the armory and say, during the evening, work in here and stuff like that. And they will literally walk. Even if there's a loading zone, even if there is a loading door, they will go through the loading door. They will go around their own little routines and stuff. It's amazing. We've got Obis, which is organised bandits in Skyrim. It just tweaks, overhauls and enhances the bandits, so that instead of having generic bandits throughout the entirety of Skyrim, it makes them more realistic. Just because I call them bandits doesn't mean they call themselves bandits, you know. Bandits in Skyrim is just literally a bunch of guys who don't want to live anywhere else, who have decided, fuck it, we're going to go and inhabit that castle. Just because they're bandits doesn't mean they're going to be friends with the guys who have inhabited the house like 3 miles down the road. They're all going to be enemies as well. That tweaks all of that. And then we got the standard ones here. We got Run for Your Lives, so that everyone runs away when dragons turn up. Wet and Cold, I'm using Ashes and Holidays add-ons. When Vampires Attack, so that when vampires appear, everyone runs home. Dual Sheath Redux and some. Right, now we're getting down to the Armory. This is just the texture section of the Armory. So I've got the entire Book of Silence, basically all of A Medium-Born's textures. I am using the content add-on as well. I've got Apophis Dragon Priest masks. I did used to use a couple of the super fancy ones. There's one out there, I can't remember the name of it, but it makes the Dragon Priest masks look like something out of a horror movie, which was really, really good. But I started getting on this whole, like, on the immersive high horse. You know, I wanted things that they still look really good and quite intimidating, but at the same time they actually fit in the world. I mean, that mask there is quite intimidating, and it actually looks like something that somebody could have made. You know, they're supposed to be made out of iron and wood and steel. They're not supposed to be things that look like they've come out of a Stephen King novel or something. But it works. But got better circlets, better shaped weapons. You really need to go have a look at that one. That one is, you know, in the standard Skyrim, you pick up a steel sword. But if you actually look at the sword, it looks like a plastic one you used to have when you were a kid playing He-Man. Better shaped weapons tweaks all of the meshes so that the weapons actually have edges. They actually look sharp. Oh, where is it? He's got a couple of examples on here. There we go. Standard vanilla one at the top. Tweaked one at the bottom. Again, that's supposed to be an elven sword. You can't fight anybody with that. That is a sword. So I mean, he just tweaks it all and just... All texture mods still work. That's the beautiful thing. Texture mods still work. Is actually a really good version of... oh my god, I've actually forgotten its name. Yeah, that sword. Dawnstar! Dawnstar! No, that's a town. Oh, that's going to piss me off now. Dawnbreaker, there it is. I'm so proud of myself, I remembered a name. But yeah, that's good. We've got the Ebony Weapon Replacer. Again, this one's just one of my own personal preferences. But it just makes ebony weapons look so much better in the game. Elven Weapons for Silence. I'm using a lot of the Echelons mods as well for his mage equipment and things. I'll get this one up here and show you. Look at the detail on that staff. There you go. It just... That one's just the mage equipment, but then we have the mage robes as well. Which, oh, they look sexy. There you go. Novice robes, apprentice robes, and adept robes. He just... I don't know how. They still look like the standard robes, but they just look so much nicer. It just... No, again, it's just little bits of tweaking and stuff, but... The guys who make these texture mods are absolutely awesome. I mean, look at that Mythic Dawn one there. The detail that's been added into it in the background and stuff, it's just fantastic. And it doesn't add... It doesn't fuck up your performance either. We've got Gemlink. Oh, the glorious... This, in my opinion, is the best Daedric retexture that exists. Here we go. That's the picture I was looking for. Look at that. The black parts are dull. They look like they are made out of burnt bones. They do not shine whatsoever. The metal parts are shiny and reflective, like they're made out of steel. The shield as well, it's all dull round the back because it's all burnt, dark, evil, demonic materials. And then you've got the metal over the top is still nice and shiny. You've got little flecks of red in places as well. And again, obviously, these pictures are taken with a different ENB, but it's just so good. Jewelry, Orcish weapons set. That is what Orcish weapons should look like. They reflect. They are huge. They are chunky. They are amazing. Look at that shield. That is what an Orcish shield should look like. Orcish weapons and armors in Skyrim are fucking abysmal. This mod makes all the weapons look so much better. We got an update. We got a texture tweak for the city guards and stuff like that as well. That's just for the... Oh no, it's actually the whole bits and pieces, isn't it? There you go. Yeah, again, that's just like Ultra HD, like 2K textures, all within lore. Right, this section here is standard game armors that have just been tweaked. It's like all these here just tweak the armors so they fit the UPN body and stuff like that. And then you've got this one here. It's just another one of those let's tweak the armors to make them look sexier, but personally I think it just tweaks them to make them look more realistic. You know, the guys just cut a few little bits off and sucked them in around the edges and stuff like that. You know, he's just made the female clothes fit the body. New items. I've got bandoliers, bags and pouches. Cloaks of Skyrim, immersive armors, terror armors, and winter is coming cloaks. Again, most of those are pretty standard. I could go crazy and add fuckloads of more armor mods in there, but I prefer just to have a collection rather than add... I'm up to 245 ESPs, for fuck's sake. I'm not adding 7 more mods in just to add 7 items of armor. I might as well just have immersive armors and terror armors. Done. That adds a couple of hundred. That adds a fair few as well, you know. New items and weapons. I've got Daedric Dawnbreaker, which tweaks Dawnbreaker to make it a little bit better to use. It makes it more of a useful weapon. Obviously, immersive weapons. Jesus Swords. Scoped bows. I absolutely love this. I have actually released my own mod update patch thing for this. But essentially, that's what Scoped bows does. Look at it. It is not infeasible that somebody in Skyrim could have the ability to make those. If you look at the intricacy of the jewellery within the game, it's perfectly feasible that somebody could make these to add on. All you got to do is you use iHUD, turn off the cursor, and use this. And to make the actual bows, you buy the standard bow. So let's say the Nordic one. You get a standard Nordic bow. Then you go to the forge and then you upgrade a Nordic bow into a scoped Nordic bow. But if you're using Skyri or Percus Maximus, I've actually worked with the mod author myself to help make it compatible, because obviously Skyri and Percus Maximus, they've got longbows and short bows. So there's a version in the files down here. There you go. You got this one down here that creates longbow and short bow versions. So all you got to do is you've got to go and buy a iron longbow, and then you take the iron longbow to the forge and turn it into a scoped iron longbow. And the reticles are actually spot on as well. You've got one for standard shooting, then you've got another one for when you're sneaking as well. It's absolutely amazing. We've got closer quivers, longer arrows. That's very similar to the better shaped weapons, except that's obviously just for arrows. Just makes them look more realistic. We've got the ultimate spinning arrows as well, so that during your kill cams, the arrows actually swivel and screw through the air. Alright, so what we got down here? We've got Torques. Torque is basically a choker. It's an extra item of jewellery that actually existed in Nordic times. It is a real piece. You can check online. A torque is a real piece of jewellery that actually used to exist in Norse mythology, and you can still get them all over the place. Plus, this now means you can wear a torque and a necklace. And if you're using clothing and clutter fixes, you can also wear a circlet with a hood. And if you're using 2 rings, that's 2 rings. So that means you've got a necklace, a torque, a circlet, 2 rings that you can enchant, as well as all your armor and your bandoliers and your cloak. You know, you end up with like 15, 16 items that you can like enchant. So, plus they look quite nice. Okay, let's see, what else have we got? Wearable lanterns. Right, now we're getting to the major overhauls. We've got Percus Maximus and a few little patches for it. Complete crafting overhaul and all of the relevant patches for the mods that I'm using. Weapons and armor fixes and clothing and clutter fixes. Down in sounds, where you've got audio overhaul for Skyrim. That's the best one to use. Use that as the base. And then we've got Better Bards, just sorts out the fucking irritating bastards inside the pubs so that they make sense. Dragons shout with voice, enhanced beasts, better Draugr, werewolf sounds, fantasy soundtrack, that just upgrades the music. Player voice sets, that makes it so that you as the character actually say things as well. So if you're walking around and you pick up like 3,000 gold, your character, depending on which voice you've picked up, will turn around and say things like, very impressive. Unless you choose the Wolfie voice, in which case you'll turn around and go, fuck yeah. Soul Trap. That one changes it, because you know in the standard game, you trap a soul and the game goes, boom, crash, wallop, woo! Yeah, now you just get this cool, calm, whooshing sound. That's it. Now we're getting down to the actual gameplay tweaks. We got Frostfall. Makes it so you get cold. Amazing mod, as far as I'm concerned. Should have been part of the standard game. I Need. Makes it so you're hungry, thirsty, and sleepy. For ages, I was using Realistic Needs and Diseases, but I Need is just so much more lightweight. Because the problem with Realistic Needs is it's got so many scripts. But Realistic Needs has got something in the region of a couple of hundred scripts, whereas that's it. How many we got there? 23 total scripts for I Need. And it doesn't overwrite anything. And it also has the ability to turn it on for your followers as well. So if you want to, you can make your followers get hungry. Real Shelter. Some people may remember Real Shelter from a while ago when it first came out. It didn't really work too well. But this new one is absolutely amazing. It comes with a TezEdit script, so you literally create a customized version according to what mods you're using. But for those that don't know, Real Shelter makes it so that if you're underneath a bridge, you no longer get rained on. You know, if you're in an archway, you walk into it's pissing it down raining. You walk into the archway, it stops raining. You walk out of the archway, it carries on raining. Water from wells, that's to go with the I Need, so that you can't. There's so many wells around Skyrim, where if you're using a needs mod, you want to be able to walk up to the well and grab water, don't you? Now you can. Right, as far as combat is concerned, I'm using Combat Drama Overhaul. Again, made by the same person who did Dragon Combat and Civil War. Very good mod. That one, essentially all that does is it changes the camera angles. Well, it randomizes the camera angles during kill cams. Makes it a lot more epic. We've got Combat Evolved and Deadly Combat. Both of those together totally overhaul the way combat works in the game. Makes it so that people actually block and bash against you as well, and just makes fights a lot harder. Dragon Combat, Dragon Priests Enhanced. You know, these guys are supposed to be ancient followers of the dragon cult. They're supposed to be like super amazingly powerful. Why aren't they? Now they are. Lock Overhaul gives you an element of automation, and it also means you can bash locks, so you can beat the fuck out of a box, and you can break the lock open. Or if you use magic, You can shoot the box of magic and it'll unlock it. We've got the NPC knockout overhaul. Which, at first, I really wasn't that fussed about using NPC knockout. But now that I've used it, I'm really quite chuffed with it. Sorry guys, I'm just checking to make sure my Twitch is still working. I have no idea whether you people are actually seeing me or not. Is anybody there? Or have I just been talking to myself for an hour? Hello? Speak up if you're there, please. Oh, thank God. Yeah, sorry, it's just my OBS is telling me I've got 67,000 dropped frames, and yeah, I'm just going through all this. But yeah, NPC knockout overhaul. It's one of those ones that sounded really odd and confusing and weird, but then the more I looked at it and actually using it, it seems to work. At first, I was concentrating on the fact that it meant that it was like, yeah, only you can kill characters and blah, blah, blah. But if you look at it from the other point of view, it adds a bleed out effect to people. It makes it more realistic, so that if you've got your follower set as essential, like I do, because I hate having to constantly find new ones, you know, it means that people get knocked out during battles and suddenly they'll get back up again. So you need to actually go over and check, is this guy dead or is he just knocked out? And you've also got the side effects that you can knock out anybody in the game and you can kill whoever you want and blah, blah, blah. But apart from that, it's like the other side of it. It adds knockout to the game. So during fights, you'll be running along and you'll hit one person and bash another and send off a big massive spell to like knock out about 4 or 5 people, and then you'll turn around and 2 of them will get up, you'll kill those 2 and carry on. Then suddenly another guy from behind you gets back up again because it turned out he was only knocked out for 30 seconds. He wasn't actually dead. So it works. Right, what else have we got? We are now down to Thunderchild. Yeah, Thunderchild is NI sign-on. It's a... Oh, why did I drag that over that side? It's a... adds a fuck ton of new shouts to the game. So you get 29 brand new shouts, 3 abilities, a load of new shit and crap and bollocks and wank. Basically, you crack on with the main storyline, and once you get fully initiated by the Greybeards, you can pick up a side quest. I'm not going to tell you everything about it, because you can go find out yourself. You pick up a side quest, and in the Throat of the World, there is a new room, which is essentially a library of shouts. You go into that room, complete a few quests, and you pick up a whole bunch of brand new shouts, which are absolutely amazing. This is the same guy who made Apocalypse. Yeah? So the guy who made Apocalypse spells, this is his other mod that makes new shouts. Do I need to say any more, really? Traps make noise. Again, just makes things a little bit more realistic. And you've also got the follower trap safety. So your followers will actually pay attention and see that there's a trap on the floor. But then again, if you're using a follower mod like EFF, that adds Lightfoot to everybody. You know, it's not really anything you need to worry about, but it's only one single script that replaces something else. So you might as well add that bit in there. But the main mod itself just makes it so that traps make noise. If you're walking along through a dungeon and you set off and you kill somebody, he's going to make noise and all the other NPCs are going to hear it and come over to you. So why would that not happen if you set off a trap? You know, you step on something and a giant wall of spikes misses you, hits your follower, crashes against the wall and like shakes the building. Somebody's going to notice that. Now they do. Violence. This is probably the best mod that adds new kill moves. So you combine violence with combat drama, and you've got a whole bunch of new kill moves to the game, and you can mix and match them as well. So you can have, there's like the advancing kill moves, and you get kill moves specifically for axes. Now you can use axe ones with like dual swords and things, you know. But you combine that with the combat drama, which randomizes the camera angles. Instead of only looking that way or only looking that way, now you get an amazing kill move where you get both of your swords, lop somebody's head off, but at the same time the camera swings round like it's something out of the Matrix. It just looks amazing. Where are we? Economy. Yeah, realistic room rental. This is one of those ones that's personal preference. You could easily go without this. It's just myself. I like it. Overhauls the inside of all the inns. If you do want to use realistic room rental with Expanded Towns and Cities, make sure you install the no inns version of Expanded Towns and Cities, otherwise they conflict. But yeah, realistic room rental tweaks the inns. So, only on the inside mainly, but it just tweaks them and faffs about with them so they make more sense. And it also changes the pricing. You know, a loaf of bread in Skyrim costs as much as it costs to rent a room for the night. No, it doesn't. Not anymore. Use that, it makes sense. You're actually paying, depending on where you go, you could pay anything between 500 and, anything from like 50 to 500 for a room, depending on where you go. You can also get rooms for more than one night. You can go along somewhere and say, yes, hi, I'd like to hire a room for the weekend or for 3 days or whatever, you know. Just makes the room rentals a lot more realistic. Especially when you play the game the way I do, which is very similar. Killing Jack from Colourful Magic, making your game odd. Yeah. Maybe you just need to do some like patching or something. I don't know. Which one's Jack?